I am back for a regular Sheepishly Sharing video today. I have put up some other videos. It's not that I've been gone, it's just that I've been really busy. I did a pine cone, scented pine cone tutorial recently, and it was kind of funny. I had about, I don't know, 283 views. It was just the first few hours of that video. And somebody writes, it was Francis, by the way, who writes, at what temperature and how long do you put these pine cones in the oven? And I thought to myself, well, for heaven's sakes, I thought I said that in the video. And I went and looked. I left out a whole clip. So special thank you to Francis. I had to go delete that video and put a new one up. So if you were one of those early watchers of that video, you might want to go back and catch the rest of the instructions. But you know what? That's so much, so typical of me. We are in full Christmas mode around this place. We are decorated. Friday after Thanksgiving, we got all that up. A few new things, a few old things that we did not put up. For example, our frou-frou tree. Frou-frou tree. I say that like you know what I'm talking about. Frou-frou tree was our great big tree we had in the old house, and it was decorated with the fancy ornaments and the glittery, wonderful things. And then we had a separate tree, which is the family tree, and that's where we put all the kids' ornaments that they've collected and or made and things like that. So we didn't put up the frou-frou tree. We always put up two trees. We did not do that this year. And you might notice my elf hat that I crocheted. There's the pattern. Let me get it. This is a free pattern. It comes in all sizes, from teeny teeny to even bigger than this. It's called the Little Helper Crochet Elf Hat from charmedbyu.com, and U is spelled E-W-E. Get it? This was a simple half double crochet pattern. Great little picot edges here on the end. Very easy to do. But I will tell you that what I'm wearing is the child size. Because I started out doing the small adult because it said that the measurement was for a 20-inch circumference. I have a 22-inch circumference head. I thought that would fit kind of snugly on me. And just like the same problem I have with the Snappy Tots pattern, everything comes out big, so I have to go down. I really like using the H hook on worsted weight yarn, so I really don't want to go down to a G hook, and so you know I need to go down by size. So that's happened in two patterns, so that tells me something. It's probably not the pattern, it's me, right? But I will highly recommend it. Put the link in the description box below for this wonderful free pattern if you want to make some little elves at your house. Now, speaking of the elf hat, if you have a baby in your house, I think you need to make that elf hat and the little baby booties that I found. They're called Chilly Elf Baby Shoes on Ravelry, and I'll put a link down there. I saw them, I don't know, I was browsing probably Pinterest, I don't know, and ran across those, and I thought, oh, how cute. And I thought little bells. I later found a picture that agreed with me on this, by the way. But I had my own inspiration of putting bells on each of the little, what do you call it? These things, the green points on those shoes that they had. Because babies, think about it, when they're laying on their back and they're kicking their little feet all around and they'd be jingling, and I thought that was so cute. But of course you would have to be, you know, sew your bells on really well because that could be a choking hazard. So, I don't know, but I thought it would be a great idea, and saw a picture of someone who agreed with me. Now, speaking of Snappy Tots patterns, I finished the big brown mystery project that I kept showing you in previous videos. I even had to put that thing down because I was so tired of dealing with brown, and it was wonderful, and it was a hit, and here's what it was. Now, this is a picture of me wearing it. I made it for my daughter because she is just, Maggie's a hoot. She likes warm and snuggly things, and I thought she would get a kick out of it, and she did. First of all, this is going to go on the blog, on the video. First of all, first of all, you're going to be on my channel, so if you don't like it, just act surprised. Okay. Happy. Not just surprised, happy. All right, ready, go. Wow.
Oh my god! Look how cute he is! Is it like a Snuggie?
Yeah, you get, you get in it. See?
It smells so good.
I just washed it. You know how you wanted that, you showed me that
Yeah.
mermaid?
Yeah.
Oh, this is better because he has a hood and
When
when,
you put your hands in it too?
yes, and you wrap your
Drop it.
other hand. You turn
Other
around.
hand.
Turn around
Other hand,
backward.
Maggie. Other hand.
I understand, but I can't do it like that. I have to put it on.
Yeah, you stick your
You have
feet
to
in.
Get into it.
Yeah, there you go. And then you can still use your phone while you're wrapped up in your bear hug from your mama.
I might need to get in this now.
But Thomas couldn't even try it on because he's 4 times the size of you and me, so.
Well, I feel like I'm going to stretch it out
No,
without being in it.
it's not going to hurt it.
Oh. Wow. Now I'm like a flying bear.
No, that's the bear hug. See, he's hugging you.
Give you a bear hug?
Don't poke her.
Stop, Thomas.
This is great.
Is that too funny? Now, his ears, when I washed him, his ears flopped down, so we have to figure out how to make his ears stand up again.
That's okay. He's so soft.
So that was really fun. And would I recommend that pattern? Yes, I would. It is a paid-for pattern, but I think it's worth it. With all her patterns, the Snappy Tots patterns, you get so many variations beyond which one you want. It gives you all the sizes and it gives you all kinds of variations. So that was a bear. She showed you how to make an angry bear with teeth and put his eyebrows down like this, and he had claws. Or there was a lion version, and well, several other things. I'll leave you to look at that. I'll put the link in the description box below. But it was definitely a hit. And would I make it again? Yeah, I would. The actual part, like all that brown, went really fast because what you were using was extra bulky yarn plus a worsted weight yarn. So I used an N hook, which I think is a 10 millimeter if I am not mistaken. So it went so quickly, and the instructions are always easy to follow. Every now and then you'll come across something that's a little awkward to figure out. For example, the fingerless mitts that you put on there. I kept trying over and over again to figure those out, and it just did not make sense to me. And finally, all of a sudden, you know, the light bulb comes on. Ding! Oh, I understand. Would I have written it differently? No, but for some reason it just didn't go through my head, and I think that's because there are so many nuances throughout the pattern that you get a little, I don't know, you get a little overwhelmed, I guess, in something, but you just have to take it one step at a time. Plus, I was really trying to hurry during that last little bit because, like I said, I had put it down because I was tired of working with brown, and so I looked at the calendar. It's like, oh my word, she's going to be here soon. I gave it to her for Thanksgiving. I had not completed all the pieces and parts, like sewing the toe pads on. I completed the parts, but I didn't sew them on, and that of course, I think that may have even taken longer than the actual crocheting of the big giant thing. But I really like it a lot. Now, I followed the pattern pretty much exactly. Now, knowing that I have a loose gauge, I used the child portion of the pattern. Maggie's about 5'1", and I knew that if I followed the child portion of the pattern, using the same recommended hook and everything, that I would probably come out with a little bit bigger size. And I did. It was plenty big enough. So keep that in mind depending upon how you crochet. The yarn I used was the yarn that was recommended in the pattern. I mean, I really did stick to this pattern. It was the Loops and Threads Charisma. And the color was espresso. Now, ironically, when I had to choose a brown worsted to go with this, I chose coffee, Red Heart Super Saver coffee to go with it. Now, I really did not want to use Red Heart Super Saver with this Loops and Thread Charisma because it's soft and Red Heart is generally not. However, in my experience, brown and gray, for some strange reason, wash up much softer than the other ones. I don't know why, but I swear to you I can feel a palatable difference. It's different. I kept forgetting to get my brown worsted, and while I was at Walmart, I said, you know what? I think this is going to be fine, and I went ahead and got the Red Heart. And you know what? It was. I washed it before I gave it to her, and it was nice and soft and bouncy and squishy, and she was pleased with it, and that's it.
Right here where the V is that opens up, you put your feet down in there. I felt like this needed some sort of reinforcement. So I'm taking my yarn, if you can see this, I'm coming out of this hole and going in this hole and doing it several times. I guess we're making him a little belly button, but that's going to be just a little bit more reinforcement at the point where it is divided.
So I pretty much followed the pattern exactly and was really pleased with it and give it 2 thumbs up. Now for a serious moment, but a happy serious moment, I want to give a shout out to Canoe41. I don't know her first name, which drives me crazy. I'm assuming it's a her. I don't know, but she messaged me a while back telling me about some health problems that she had, and she saw that at me working with that Addy machine and it was inspired to get it to see what she could do. Well, I remembered that, of course, but here she popped up again recently with another comment, and I need you to hear this accomplishment because it makes me so proud of her and anybody that is working with a negative in their lives who are turning it into a positive. She said, I commented last summer on that your charity hats inspired me. I'm paralyzed on one side and I have poor vision. I keep trying to use my Big Addy and have made over 175 ski hats, which are being distributed in local schools, shelters, church mission projects. I mean, let's hear some applause. That is absolutely so impressive. And that story touched me so much because so many of us who, have healthy limbs and great vision, don't necessarily reach out beyond our own little world, and I think maybe that we could use that as an example. But I wrote this to her. I said, I think your story sums up a couple of life lessons for all of us. Number one, we don't need to focus on what we can't do, but rather on what we can do. And I am very guilty of doing that, being really wrapped up in what I can't do. Number two, life lesson number 2, when the chips are down, center our attention on others rather than on ourselves. 9 times out of 10, the results can be a win for everybody. And it's true. They tell you, people who suffer with depression, you're so dragged down. It's like a cloud that you live in, and it's really a miserable thing. And if you just take yourself outside of your own head and focus on other things, it makes a world of difference. And yes, I do speak from personal experience on this. But I wanted to thank Canoe41 for sharing that, for reaching out and telling me what she has accomplished, because it just kind of lit a fire underneath me. It makes me want to do more. Every morning we need to wake up and try to be a better person than we were the day before. Sometimes I'm successful at that, sometimes I'm not. But it doesn't mean that I don't get to keep trying. And I also want to give a shout out to Tammy Neal. Tammy was a subscriber since, long ago, and a frequent commenter and everything. And all of a sudden I got this message from her. I hadn't heard from her in a while. And I got a comment that says, I don't know what happened, but I somehow got unsubscribed from you. And she said, I've missed out on everything for I don't know how long. That happens to me. Have you ever noticed that you know you're subscribed to somebody and then all of a sudden you're not getting their feed, and something happens and you discover that your little subscribe button is not grayed out. It's red as it could be as if you were not a subscriber to that channel. It has happened to me on several occasions, and I find that frustrating. However, if you understood the magnitude of YouTube and what it does accomplish, I guess some glitches here and there are understandable. But if you're missing somebody that you subscribe to on a regular basis, go on, find their channel and see, did YouTube unsubscribe me by accident, and check it out. So just a heads up for everybody. And welcome back, Tammy. Look what I got. Some sock blockers. Yeah, I purchased some sock blockers. Why? Because I finished my socks. Sort of. I still have to sew some ends in. They are wearable creations. That's a positive thing I can say about these. I love the yarn. That's a positive thing I can say about these. This is the first one that I did, and the toe, you can see, was not a successful Kitchener stitch. Kitchener stitch is just confusing to me for some reason. I do not know. I mean, I understand the concept behind it. You're basically creating a knit stitch with your needle, joining the two things, and for some reason I don't know. And I did okay. I made a few mistakes on the heel, but I gotta tell you, my socks look so much better once you put them on a sock blocker. When I was just holding it up, I was thinking, this is atrocious. But when I put it on the sock blocker, it's like, oh, whoa, they look like socks. Now on this one, I also made a mistake on the heel. I know what I did, and it's just not even worth talking about. And then on this one, I also just did a 3 needle bind off for the toe because I didn't want to do that Kitchener stitch. So I'll have to investigate some other options for closing that toe, or just suck it up and learn the Kitchener stitch. But I have to say, I did enjoy working on these socks, and I will be making more socks in the future. Hence the investment of the sock blockers. Now, over Thanksgiving, I had all 3 kids here, and Maggie and I love those sappy Hallmark movies. So we love discovering the new ones that are out and watching old favorites and making fun of the ones that are absolutely ridiculous, and I know you know which ones I'm talking about. But my son said, why do you keep watching them if you keep saying they're sappy and stupid? I don't know. They're just so Christmassy, and they're happy. They always end up happy, and that's something I'm trying to surround myself with right now, is uplifting things. So I was working on this while we watched some marathons of these Christmas movies. And I also discovered this. It's a Christmas ornament. It's a tiny mini sweater. Now, the pattern is by Anne, is that Ross, I think? And I'll put the link in the description box below, of course. And I really hope to have this finished before I filmed, but if I keep putting off filming till I finish things, I'm never going to get a video up. But here is my little sweater so far. Can you see? It's so cute. Now, I'm also learning a lot about a top-down sweater construction in the process of this, which is kind of neat. It didn't come out so great here, so... But that's what this is, living and learning is what it's all about. On the Facebook group, Danny was saying how she was so frustrated because she was working on a pattern that she really didn't get excited about. And she felt like the time was wasted, and we were having a discussion about this, several of us. And I have found that I am a process knitter and crocheter, in that I really love the process. So it's not the end of the world to me that if this it turns out to be horrible, especially because it's small. But it's okay. And when I crochet, for example, I was working on this hat, and I first was doing the adult small, and it was just coming out huge. And I ended up ripping back. And my son, my older son, every time he sees me do that, he's like, he wants to cringe because it's like wasted time, wasted effort. But I don't see it that way. I see it as part of the process. And not because I'm Mary Sunshine, always look, be optimistic. It's just because I enjoy the process. The opposite of that would be a project knitter. I'm a process knitter, and you've heard of a project knitter, and that's one who really knits for the accomplishment, for the feel. And Danny said that's what she is, because she loves the feeling of accomplishment, and that good sense of well-being when you have a finished project. And I have to agree, I do understand what that is, but I also am not a perfectionist, and so maybe that plays into some of it too, is that I'm happy to go, oh, that doesn't look right. Oh, well. Whereas I know a lot of people aren't going to do that. But this is fun. And look for the link in the description box below. I'm going to try to make it. This will be my first one. What am I using here? Loops and Threads Wool-like. Gosh, I seem to be able to do a Michaels commercial today. Love this yarn. Erin introduced me to this yarn. Very good deal. It's got wool. Does it have wool in it? I think it does. Yeah, acrylic. 85% acrylic and 15% nylon. So it feels really good. And it's very thin. It's a fingering weight, and you can get it for great prices. So there's a shout out for that yarn. I was shopping on Amazon for a gift for my niece and nephew, and look what I found. Pom Pom puppies. Make your own adorable dogs. Aren't these guys cute? Made out of pom-poms. And the kit, it comes with a simple pom-pom maker. It says, I don't like these. I love the clover kind, and I find them, I don't know, I just find them to be the best. I've tried this one in particular, and I threw it in the garbage can, but of course that's a personal preference. But look, it gives you the felt and the glue and eyes and everything. Isn't that adorable? Well, there it is. That's everything you get. There's the felt, bows, accessories. Oh, and you even get a little comb. But that is just too cute. I'll put a link to this in the description box below, and also those clover palm makers that I like better. But that is, I just fell in love with that and thought you might want to see it. A great way to use up scrap yarn too. This is some footage from the Veterans Parade in downtown Atlanta from Thomas's school, Riverside Military Academy. And it was just so impressive to see 600 or so sharp-dressed guys taking up 2 city blocks long, and they were just impeccable. And they won the President's Trophy for the parade. I was thinking this was kind of festive. Think toy soldiers and nutcrackers. So I'll leave you with this while I sign us off down in the corner. So I guess that's all I've got, or actually that's all I can remember that I've got right now. And hopefully I'm going to be back on the weekly schedule because I really miss that interaction. Do jump over to the Facebook group, not the page. I probably need to delete that page. The group, because that's where we can interact and see what each other is making, ask questions of one another, get advice. It's really a fun community. So if you're so inclined, jump over there. We also have one on Ravelry that's run by Sarah, Crunchiest One. So if you prefer that format, jump over there. But anyway, until next week, hopefully next week, talk soon. Bye.